Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back. It's Jordan here. Today we're going to be heading to the studio because we're going to continue construction over there. I got to take care of some painting, finish up the washroom, baseboards, and then it's pretty much going to be all done after a thorough cleaning. In addition to that, I want to talk about computers. So I actually have been talking about computers for quite some time, and I need to get a third computer so that I can have a brand new rig over there for video editing specifically. I spotted one at Costco the other day, and then I also went to Memory Express to look into a custom built one as well. There was one that was like 2,500 bucks. It's got a GeForce RTX 470 Super and an i7 core and all this different fancy stuff. And during the video when I was actually talking about doing that, I featured it. And a lot of people were saying that maybe I should consider getting a Mac. And the thing is I haven't touched a Mac computer since high school, so since 2009. So I don't really know much about Macs, but all of the reading that I've done about Macs and all of the suggestions that I got from you guys in the comment section says that Macs are like really good for your like video editing. Their M chips or whatever can handle editing 4K video no problem. And then I started looking on the Mac website, and I discovered that a nice iMac is actually cheaper than the computer that I was having a look at. And of course, iMacs have like the screen and the speakers and the keyboard and the mouse and everything sort of built into one. So now I'm thinking maybe what I should do is go to the Apple store and get sold on an Apple computer. I have not used Apple products since 2012. I had an iPhone and then I switched over to Android. Haven't touched it since because I couldn't stand like the interface because I'm more of like a PC guy. I've always used PCs my entire life, but maybe I need to try a Mac. I know I'm a quick learner and I could figure out how to use a Mac, so it would be all good. In addition to going to the studio and also the Apple store, and cultivating that plan. They're stomping around their little booties. How funny is that? Cultivating those two plans. I also came up with another plan today. It involves moving the Lego and all of the stuff from the studio downstairs, building tables, etc. I was thinking to myself, how am I going to get all of that stuff over to the studio? Like, it's going to be quite the process moving all of that Lego. And I think there's a pretty cool solution. The one way that I could do it, and this is what I was really thinking of doing, is buying like or renting the biggest U-Haul possible and doing it in like one giant load or just a few giant loads over the course of maybe a few days or a week. But then I was thinking to myself, what I could do is get like a large moving van, not like a truck, but a van, and I could rent this van for like a month, and then I can slowly move all of the Lego over the course of a month. And as we were walking the dogs today with the kids, we priced that out from U-Haul, and it's actually quite affordable. It's not too bad at all. And I think it would just give us the options of lots of flexibility. And it would be cool to have a van for a month, because then maybe one day I could bring all the parts over. Then I could start bringing the sets over. Then I could go to the hardware store, buy all the lumber, and transport it in the van. So it might be nice having a large moving van for an entire month. So I think we're probably going to do that once the studio construction is done, and once we're like it's all cleaned up and we're ready to start building tables and actually ready to start moving Lego, I'll probably just rent a van for a month, and then we can just cruise around in a pretty cool van for an entire month. So we're going to head to the studio, and we're also going to head to the Apple store because I want to check out these iMacs. Maybe they're the ultimate solution for editing, rendering, and uploading 4K videos, even though I am not an Apple user whatsoever. Maybe I need to, you know, step on into the dark side of that. Is that a dark side? I don't think so, but I think it's worth a shot and definitely worth talking to an Apple specialist. Oh, I found the piece of paper that I was looking for, and it has all the specs of the computer. So it's got an RTX 4070 Super, also an i7 4700 KF processor, and then 32 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. That's 2,500 Canadian dollars for that bad boy, which works out to 1,800 US dollars approximately. Then of course you need to get monitors and mounts and keyboard and mouse and all that stuff. And if I were to get the warranty for 4 years, which is absurd, I wouldn't do that. I'd probably get no warranty. it would be like $33.81. But I'm just thinking maybe I can go get a Mac for the same price of the PC alone, $2,500, and then it would have all of that stuff and speakers and all that good stuff, and it can get the job done. So I'd end up saving money, and I could enter the world of Mac, and that's what everybody wants me to do, is try Mac. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I should take the advice from the commenters and try it out. Because I'm going computer shopping, I decided to throw on my finest paint slash glue slash animal hair covered clothing. It's really gonna suit the task. Big time. Wow, I look like a stud. I don't want to do that, but I'm going to paint after, so why ruin new clothes? But these pants are just like covered in glue and paint and all sorts of stuff. It's pretty funny. And the mismatched socks, they really pull the whole look together. Before we go anywhere, I need to cut some 3/8 plywood with my skill saw because we need this for behind the washroom vanity. Check out my eye protection. Holy cow, hey, these things are extreme. Jose got them for me for my birthday. Looks like I can go snowboarding in these bad boys. I cannot wait to have full access to my garage. Like, Bricksie takes up all the space. It's got wood, filing cabinet full of instruction manuals, bubble wrap, mailers, more bubble wrap, boxes. Like, there is just stuff everywhere dedicated to the business. Like, it is just ridiculous. All right, I've arrived at the Apple store. Is it strange that this is sort of like a brand new experience for me? I think so. I just got noticed in the store, so that's pretty funny. I will say these iMacs look pretty slick. Like, look at all the different colors. It's interesting to me that, like, this is the computer. I'm used to having, like, you know, the computer itself and then the monitor. So it's interesting how, like, it's all in one. You get the mouse, the keyboard, the screen, and the computer. Like, it's pretty simplistic if you ask me. I think that's a pretty neat concept. Or you can also get these right here. I think this is what, a Mac Mini or something like that. So that's literally the PC, and then it's connected to this screen. So that's pretty interesting. This one looks larger than this one. I really don't know much about it at all. So it's pretty funny. It's pretty new to me. You know, I've been a PC guy my entire life. I'm sort of leaning toward one of these bad boys, but I've got a sales rep on the way, and they're gonna like pitch Apple products to me. So apparently this one here is the one to get. This is the Mac Mini, and this is gonna be more powerful than the computer in regards to video editing and rendering, like compared to the one that we saw earlier, and also more powerful than the iMacs. So I bought one. This is it right here. So it's $1,700. It's an Apple M2 Pro chip. It's 10 core CPU, 16 core GPU, and then it's got 16 gigabytes of memory, but apparently that is double, so it's actually like 32. It only has a 512 gigabyte SSD memory, but I can just buy an external hard drive and plug it into it. Now, it doesn't come with a monitor. Mac monitors are like really expensive, so what I'm gonna do is just go to like Best Buy and buy a 4K monitor and pair it up with this thing here. So technically this was $900 cheaper, no, $800 cheaper than the PC that I was looking at, and it's gonna be more powerful in regards to video rendering, and I can use that additional budget for buying a really nice monitor to go with it, and then all the other stuff that I need, such as a keyboard and mouse, because you literally don't get anything. This is just like buying a new PC, but it is a Mac. And it has a 2-week return policy, so I can try it out. And if I'm not a huge fan of it, then of course I can return it. This one I learned is the Mac Studio. It has 2 different types. So look at that, $2,700, but it has 32 gigabytes of unified memory, 512 gigabyte SSD, 30 core GPU, 12 core GPU, and then you can see the specs of the crazy one. But like, that's $5,500. This one here is $2,700, which is just under the price point of that PC that I was looking at. And apparently it is going to be a lot more powerful when it comes to video rendering as well. Now these pretty ones, the iMacs, they come with the display and the speakers and the keyboard and the mouse and all that stuff, and you can see the specs of them. But apparently this here at $2,500 is nowhere near as strong as this one. Because once again, this has all that stuff and 16 gigs of unified memory, which is more powerful than 16 gigs of RAM. Now I'm just learning here, but I'm excited to try it out because I think it's going to be pretty sweet. I can't wait to go grab a monitor, I guess, plug this thing in, maybe film some 4K videos, and give it a whirl. Enter into the Apple universe, I guess. You know what I really like? quality customer service. And I felt like the sales representative at the Apple store gave me really good advice when it comes to getting an Apple product. He's like, you don't really want to get an iMac because most of that dollar value is dedicated to the screen and like the integrated sound and the mouse and the keyboard. And he's like, honestly, like just get this one because it's gonna give you what you want. It's gonna give you more power. It's gonna be able to render videos. It's gonna be able to run your editing software, that's DaVinci Resolve, with ease. And then you can take that additional budget, you can buy yourself a nice monitor. He's like, don't buy a Mac or an Apple monitor because they're just like outrageously expensive for what they are. Don't buy a keyboard and mouse because they're outrageously expensive for what they are. Just go get like a nice one from Best Buy or whatever it may be, and you'll get way more value out of it. And he also said, you know, I'm a PC user too. Like I have PC and I have Mac, and I will tell you that this computer will do everything that you're looking to do. If you're looking to game or get like a gaming computer, then go get a PC. But if you're looking to edit videos and stuff, this is gonna be all that you're gonna need. And he really like pitched it to me in a very honest way. And he said, if it's not your cup of tea and you don't want it, then you can always just bring it back. So I like that. There's a nice return policy. And I just think that it's gonna be good to try. I also mentioned, like, one of the things that I really don't like about Apple products is like iTunes and the way that everything has to sync to iTunes. Am I gonna be able to plug in my Android and just transfer files like I normally do on my PCs? Like, things have come a long way since you've been using Apple products, man. You no longer have to sync with iTunes and all that. It's more like a PC now. So he's like, I know exactly what you're talking about, but it's not like that at all. Hey, check this out. Edmonton is working on constructing the LRT, which is essentially the train, and it's coming to West Edmonton Mall here. For some reason, it didn't come to West Edmonton Mall in the past, but now they're building it after. But they've made some like crazy progress here. It's pretty wild. Like, we've got that, which will be the station, I believe, because that's where the old bus station used to be. And then it's right there. Yeah, it's quite the project. It's been going on for years. Hopefully one day it'll be done. The other day when I was looking at a PC, I selected a dual monitor mount and two like really cheap, crappy monitors. But that's just because I was like, oh my gosh, this is getting expensive. It's like up toward $3,000. Now with this at $1,750 after tax or whatever it was, I feel like I can go buy a really cool monitor. I don't think I'm gonna go the dual monitor route. I think I'm gonna go with one large monitor that maybe is one of those like curved ones. That might be pretty neat, have like a large curved monitor. But I guess we'll go to Best Buy and check that out. But I'm just surprised. He said that this here is gonna outpower the iMacs, and it's gonna outpower that one that you have selected there in regards to video editing. He's like, this is what you wanna get. And also go get yourself a nice monitor, a nice keyboard and mouse, and you're still gonna be under that price point that you priced out from Memory Express, and you're still gonna be under the price point of getting the best iMac. So I think this is the way that you need to go. So once again, just a fantastic sales rep there at the Apple store. So now I'm at Best Buy and I'm having a look at monitors. This Alienware has my attention, but it's $1,100, which is pretty insane if you ask me. I am thinking a large curved monitor might be better than having two monitors. This one here, for example, isn't even 4K though. This one is only 165 hertz, whereas 4K would be 240 hertz. This Asus one isn't bad either. It's less than half the price, so that's definitely pretty attractive. And this one here actually has more hertz, so it's 180 hertz. I don't really know if having like full 4K is necessary just for editing. I'm more so worried about making 4K videos for people that watch on TVs. I was looking at my analytics the other day, and apparently 30% of the audience that watches my YouTube channel is on like a smart TV, which is like the odds of them having a TV that's larger than 42 inches is pretty significant. So I just want to make sure that we have 4K videos, just because, I don't know, I just think it's time for me to upgrade to 4K. Like, I'm a professional YouTuber, and I know a lot of people say I don't need 4K, but I just think it's time to do that. This one's not bad, 320, but it only has 100 hertz refresh rate, so it's nowhere near 4K, but it's pretty big. Look at the size of it. If I could get that in 4K, it would be optimal. But I don't know if I see that option here. I think this one's a little bit out to lunch in regards to price, but that other one is not too bad at all. See, like when buying computers, just looks like unlimited choices. Like, it's absolutely insane. Should I get an iMac, or should I get a Mac Mini, or should I be getting an Alienware, or should I be getting one of the ones that I looked at the other day from Memory Express? Like, there's just so many different options. But I've been told by the internet that for video editing and rendering, it's best to go with a Mac product. For gaming and stuff, it's best to go with a PC. So I could always do things like this as well. This is a Samsung, but this is like 4K. I don't think you're ever gonna get like 4K in those curved ones. This one here, you can see the resolution. So that's 4K, and then the refresh rate, this one says 60 Hertz, but that must be like a full 4K monitor. Is it big enough though? I think it's pretty massive. That price is pretty big. But I don't know if this one would be optimal for doing the split screen that I want to do. For example, on one like this, I could have the internet on one side, and then I could have the video editing software on the other side. So it sort of makes up for the fact that I don't want to do a dual monitor. There's gonna be a lot of people that think I'm absolutely crazy for doing this, but I got the LG ultra wide monitor. It's only HDR, so it's like 1080p, but I think it's gonna suit my needs. I mean, I just film vlogs. I just edit vlogs. It's gonna be all good. This thing's huge too, and it's not curved. It's 34 inches of just like flat monitor screen, which is gonna be epic, especially when you pair it up with the Mac Mini. Oh yeah, I also got a standard Logitech mouse and keyboard along with the gel pad. And check out the baseboards up here as well. Oh man, that makes that look so good. Right on. They just need a final coat of paint because they were joined together. So where the joints are just need to be painted because they were mudded as well. And then the baseboards down here look fresh. Look at that below the mural there. The white 6-inch baseboard. It just finishes it off beautifully. I love that. Those also need the final coat of paint just where they are joined. So like right there, for example. But that just looks beauty because they go under the cloud mural, and then they also go right here on either side of this door, and then they match up with the tile baseboard right there as well. So that just looks fresh. Now you think I would probably be excited to set up my new computer, but I'm actually gonna prioritize sanding and painting this wall over that. Because yesterday I patched this, and today I just need to sand it. This is just gonna be a storage room, so I'm not too worried about it being perfect, but I wanted to patch these walls and specifically paint them because it doesn't look too good. I got the walls all sanded and vacuumed, and then I was getting ready to paint because I also stopped off at the Home Depot and bought this little mini tray and also the foam brush for cutting in. But then I realized, wait a tick, we don't have a sink. So normally what I would do is paint and then I'd clean my roller after. But it's like, I'm not gonna do that because I don't know when this sink will be operational. And sometimes I don't wanna dirty this tray, so I'll just dip the roller right into the can of paint. But if I'm gonna do that, then I can't really keep my roller wet because I don't wanna dirty the tray, so I'll have to clean my roller right after painting, and I don't have a sink. So guess what? I was like, okay, I've got another important task to take care of, and that is, of course, firing up my first ever Mac. So I set up the huge computer screen that I got, and I fired it up, and it's all set up there now. I'm just like downloading all of my regular programs like Chrome and DaVinci Resolve and all that stuff. It's pretty cool how you can just buy this Mac Mini. You can hook up a normal mouse and keyboard to it. You don't have to use some weird Macintosh one. And then you can just hook up a standard screen. I think this screen is gonna be perfect because I'm just gonna get rid of half of this stuff like messages. I don't need that. I don't need that on my dock. Whatever all this stuff is, even Safari, no, I'm gonna use Chrome. So definitely not gonna use Safari. It's gonna take me a long time to remember that the little buttons for minimize and close are up here. I'm sure you could maybe change that. I'm just so used to PC, but obviously it's gonna be so easy to learn how to use this. I'm really not concerned about it. I'm really tech savvy, so give me a couple days and I'll be zooming around on this thing, no problem. But look at that, that's quite the monitor, hey? I know it's not 4K, but I think that's gonna be just perfect. Don't mind the background noise, I'm just vacuuming right now. So I actually went back to Best Buy and I returned that keyboard that I bought because that keyboard was more so for a PC. And I got one that's more adaptable for Mac. So it actually has like your function key and command key and all that. So I just feel like this one's nicer. Also, it's Bluetooth, so the keyboard and mouse are connected wirelessly to that, so I'm not using a USB port. And it has a really cool like button on it as well. So for example, if I open up all these different windows, what I could do is just press this button on the side and it actually explodes everything out on the screen, which is pretty cool. I've literally been like browsing around on this thing, setting things up, like downloading programs, Photoshop and Chrome and Streamlabs and all the different stuff that I might use, and just trying to wrap my head around how to navigate this computer, because it's definitely a lot different than a PC, but just learning different things. Like I've actually been watching some YouTube videos and trying to figure out like where all the different menus are and everything, just to try and, you know, learn how to use a Macintosh product. I also picked up a speaker, so while I was at Best Buy, the second trip there, I decided to buy the speaker here, which is just like a Sony portable speaker. I have a portable speaker at home, but I don't have one for here, so I decided to grab this as well, just because this is going to serve as my computer speaker, and it's also going to serve as just a speaker that I can use throughout the entire studio. So far I am okay with my purchase. I am struggling with some things, like simple things like copy and paste, Control C, Control V, Control X. They don't work the same. Also, something that just boggles my mind, maybe I'm wrong here, but for example, if I go to this video folder and I want to delete this, I can't delete it by hitting just delete or like command delete. It doesn't delete. Like, it's ridiculous. I have to like drop it into the bin. There's just like bizarre things like that that are so simple that, as far as I'm aware, Macs can't do. So just like learning these new like shortcuts that don't seem to be as efficient as a PC is just sort of like bothering me a little bit. But I did film a little clip using 4K 60 frames per second with this camera here, and I did pop it into DaVinci Resolve, and I noticed that it had no problem with the playback. Didn't have to be scaled down to quarter resolution like I've had to do with my other computers, and it could actually handle the 4K render, and also it can handle the 4K playback, so I was pretty happy with that. And I actually copied and pasted the same file to make it 20 minutes long, and it looked like it'd only take about 24 minutes to render a full 4K video, so I was pretty happy with that. And also something interesting that I found is I was able to plug in my camera right into the computer, and rather than having to copy and paste those files over onto the actual hard drive of the Mac, I could actually take those off the memory card that was being read off the camera, and I could take those files and I can drag and drop them right into DaVinci Resolve, and they're there just like that. So it's not like I have to go through the process of taking these big chunky files and putting them from the camera onto the PC and then from the PC into DaVinci Resolve. They just go straight from the camera into the editing software. So I thought that was super cool and is actually going to help with efficiency. But with that said, if, for example, I'm using this camera to film and the files are on the memory card of this camera, and I have a DaVinci Resolve document going with a particular project, if I go ahead and reopen that project, for example, if I reopen the project that I'm currently filming right now, all of the files for this project are currently on the memory card that's in this camera. So if I open this up, it says media offline, like none of the media is actually there. Although it's super cool and it's gonna save you time, in order to keep editing this file, in order to render this file, I need to make sure that this camera is plugged in or that memory card is plugged in. So yeah, it's definitely a learning curve. I'm learning lots. And my buddy Kevin, the brick building biker, he's been pushing this on me for quite some time. He wants me to convert to Mac for quite some time. So he's gonna give me a little crash course on how to use it. And that should be extremely beneficial as well. We got some stuff done in the studio, but as predicted, we didn't get everything done today. Let's have a look. The first thing I want to do here is actually check out how my vacuum did. So I've actually ran this 3 days in a row. This being the third day, of course. It's quite a bit of dust, considering I've been running it every single day. Yesterday there was more than that. The day before there was even more than that. So I'm just picking up more and more dust every day. It's pretty cool that I can pick up that much without doing anything. However, with that said, if I were to grab my cordless Dyson vacuum, I'd be able to get that much dust in 3 swift swoops, I bet. But still, it's not too bad. I guess it gets the job done. So it is confirmed that tomorrow will be the final day of construction. There was just one thing that was holding it up a little bit, and that's actually the stainless steel backsplash that we installed in the washroom. So this baseboard, as mentioned, it had to be painted, and that has been painted, so that is officially done. But the stainless steel backsplash, it had to be siliconed around the edges, and in order to continue working on that, the silicone has to dry. So literally we can't get that done until tomorrow. But doesn't that look good? It's got like a nice stainless steel backsplash. Of course, you could do that with tile, but stainless steel is just much cheaper, and it just sort of matches the vibe of this sink. And of course, the faucet is going to go in the corner there, and then we'll have a nice wall guard there with the stainless steel. It's got this beautiful edging on it as well, so it just sort of looks like one with the sink. It really does match the stainless steel top of the sink as well, so that's perfect. So it looks like I won't be cleaning my paintbrush roller, but that's right over here, wrapped in plastic. Whatever, those rollers are dirt cheap anyway, and I can just throw it away and get a new one. But there you go, I actually painted this, so I did 2 coats, and you can barely tell that that wall was all roughed up, so I'm happy with that, that's for sure. This was sort of an interesting project over here, installing this, because this cabinet had to be drilled into the wall, so we had to hilty into the concrete wall in 3 different spots and install that. And then there's that 3/8 plywood, which is actually behind this, making up for the gap of the baseboard on the bottom. The drain, I believe, is all hooked up, so there we go. That's all hooked up there, which is beauty. Now we just have to wait to install the tap, and then that project there is done. And once that's taken care of and another coat of paint is put onto the baseboards upstairs, and this place is cleaned up, and I guess that's painted as well, then construction is officially done. So pretty cool. It's hard to visualize and say, hey, construction's done when you got all these tools and stuff laying around, but I'm hoping tomorrow will be that day. This like Macintosh thing though, am I happy with it? I don't know. I do think that the interface is a little bit, you know, ridiculous compared to PC. I won't lie, I don't like it as much, but it's also my first time ever using it. So I've got lots to learn. Am I gonna return it? Probably not, because I feel like it was good value compared to a PC. I feel like it can do lots of stuff all at once. Like it can be rendering a video in 4K. I can be operating the internet and Photoshop all at the same time, and it was cheaper than that PC that I was pitched before. And I'm really happy with the monitor, mouse, and the little speaker that I got there as well for the studio. So yeah. Sort of went all in today, didn't I? Holy cow. But we're going to get the construction all wrapped up tomorrow and then get cleaning, and I look forward to it. Thank you so much for coming on by. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff coming out in the very near future. And thank you everyone for the suggestions on the Mac product. Farewell.